Cooking with the Coles. We are going to be making an apple pie this time. We have a previous episode where we made pie crust, and that's the crust that I'm using. I like to pre-cook my apples. It makes it for a really tasty apple pie. So you start off with 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, which is now melting in the pan. Once it's melted, we're going to add approximately 7 cups of apples is what the recipe says. Basically, I have smallish apples and I did 8 of them. I have a mixture of Fuji and Granny Smith. It's what I have in the fridge. I had a lot of both of them, so it was time to use them. When I go apple picking, I'll pick Cortland or something along those lines, a bigger, sort of sturdier apple to make apple pie. But right now I'm using what I have in the house. So as soon as the butter's done, I'm going to add my 7 cups of apples. All right, the butter is all melted. I'm going to add my apples. If you look, they get a little brown. I mean, by the time you peel and slice, they're going to brown up on you. And I go for, I don't know, about 1/4 of an inch of an apple. You want something that's a little sturdy. If you go too thin, they're just going to become wimpy. And you want them to have a little bit of crisp when you go to eat your apples. A little splashy. So now I'm going to try to coat them all in butter. And then I'm going to put the lid on and let them cook for just a few minutes over medium heat. All right, about 4 minutes has gone by, and I say they steamed enough. They are still crisp. They're not super soft. They're not falling apart. You don't want them to fall apart. Next, we're going to add 3/4 of a cup sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I like a lot of flavor in my apple pie. A pinch of salt. And I add some nutmeg. I freshly grind it, so I never know how much I put in. I just put in a bunch. Oh, it smells so good already. All right, mix her up. You're gonna cook it for about 5 minutes or so until it gets nice and syrupy. All right, so I'm gonna say this is done. Look at how beautiful bubbly that is. Turn it off, and I'm gonna let it cool for just a touch. So all you do is pour it in your prepared pie crust. You can use a store-bought one. I made one. It's really not that hard, and it is so much better. But I have used the store-bought plenty of times, especially when I'm just making something quick. Final step is a top. Technically for this recipe, you're supposed to let it cool. I don't. I'm lazy and quick, and I just want to get it done. So I'm just going to crunch up all my crust. It's not going to be the prettiest thing ever, but it'll be super tasty. My crust is a little warm because I pre-did it, so it's better if it's a little cold. So I'm just going to turn it all in. I'm going to put this in a 425 degree oven for about 40 minutes. I do have a baking sheet in there, so if it bubbles over, it doesn't make a mess. See you in a little bit.